Everyone, this video is for those who are starting out in their React journey, for those who have a basic knowledge on HTML, CSS and JavaScript and you're looking forward to learning React. So we're going to be making a movie site in which you're going to fetch data from an API and then you can use that data and search for various movies. So we're going to design it to look nice and we're going to be able to search for movies. So you'll be learning concepts like how to work with components, how to make use of use states, use effects and many other things. So I do implore you to like, share and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and with no further ado, let us get started. Thank you. So before we get started, let's check a demo of how we are to use this. So basically we're going to be able to search for various types of movies. You're not exactly playing them, you're just searching for them. So this, like I said earlier, the project is totally beginner friendly for those who are transitioning from perhaps HTML, CSS, JavaScript to using React. So this is totally beginner friendly. So if I want to search for, let's say, something like movie Friends, I'm going to be able to get the results. So we're going to be fetching data from an API. If I want to search for what other movies there, Baby Boss, I'm going to be able to get that. If I want to search for, I think, let's say Wonder Woman, yeah, so we're going to be able to get that. So basically it's quite easy, it's quite fun. You'll be able to learn how to do all this. So we're going to make use of bits. So just come here and copy this, and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to do a dot and / because I want the folder to be downloaded here. Assuming I wanted a new folder, I'll probably put the name of the folder. So we're going to start with this. Then I'm going to get a list of options to pick if I'm going to be using React or not. So I'm just going to pick React, not Preact. So I'm just going to be using JavaScript, and I'm going to run they said we should run npm install, so we'll do that. This is to install all the dependencies, and then we use npm run dev after like this installation. Now that installed already, then we're going to do npm run dev. So this should start up. So we can see it's open at localhost 517. So I'm just going to open that, click on it and open it. So we have it right here. I think we're done with this. We can just close this up. Yeah, we're done. So we'll start by making some edits in our app.js, but let's just check out main.js. So this is just what we have, simple thing we have here. So in our app.js, we can just clear up everything. Basically, what the default thing here was like is like it counts as you click on it, it increases. So coming here, I'm just going to clear it all out. Okay, then I'll probably just do like a div. I say hello world. I'm just doing this to see how it works. So we have this. So we can also go into our index.css and clear and remove all the styling there. So we're going to have this, I think, and also have some styles in our app.css which we can also remove. So we just have a normal plain stuff that we're going to work with. So I hope that's clear. So we are building a search site. So we're going to start by creating a div. So in React we make use of something called JSX. So JSX is simply JavaScript XML, so it allows us to write HTML in React. So like instead of using class as you use in HTML, you use something called class name in React. So we'll create a div as would, I'll remove this. So create a div as we would in HTML, but this time I'm going to give this a class name of app. Okay, so class name still stands the same as like class. So we'll write h1, and here we'll write, maybe I should split the screen. so we could see what's going on here. So yeah, so I'll have an H1 where I'll just write what I wrote there. Search for your favorite movies. Yeah, movies. Yeah. Okay. Then I add this to the star. Yeah. To write movie here. Movie here. So to write movies here, I think always right. So proceed going on from there, just below our H closing H1 tag, we're going to create another div and we're going to give it maybe I should have a space down here. Let's give it a class name of search. So this for our search here for this year. So we're going to give it a class name of search. So a class name of search and just right here or do an input, and like in HTML your input is for like a form, so give it an input which would be text. Then moving on, we'll give it a placeholder of type yeah sorry yeah then thereafter we're going to give a value search term. So I'm going to explain what this means and what this is going to do. Then we're going to write on change. Okay, I was worried about it. On change, we're going to select the event. So set search item to target value. So in doing this, we're going to make use of something called use state. Okay, so here's use state. So I'm going to explain what use state does. So this is use state. So we're going to write search term. Then after writing the search term, just click on tab twice. So rather than initial state, we're going to leave it empty. Okay, so you have this. So explaining what use state does. See, of course, we're going to be entering a number of things inside here. So whatever we enter, we want in such a way that whatever we're entering, the data we're getting is in response to what we have entered here. Okay, so there's something that ought to store the variables that we're probably entering, or planning to use the word variables, the things that we're entering. So yeah, the value is got to set search items that we're taking the value of the item that the user wants to search for, and then we're saying okay, on click of search or something, that on changing we want to actually get whatever, when like we press enter when we're searching, we're getting result based on the value that the person has entered. So we are targeting the event of that value. So a use state will just basically enable us to create and keep track of a variable that is holding whatever information that we're putting it. So like when we search, we basically just see things relating, we're able to store that value and get our results relating to what we search for. So we search for Wonder Woman, we're able to see things relating to Wonder Woman. I hope you guys understand that. So moving on would then be, we also create a use state for movies, in which I'll show you guys where we're also going to implement that. So let's write use state, and we're going to write movies. So when you write movies, just click on tab twice, and our initial state, we're going to make it an array. Okay, an empty array. All right, so going down here, we want to use a search icon. Okay, we're going to create an image right below our input. We're going to write image, then click tab, then right in our source here, we're going to write search icon. So as of now, we don't have the search icon here. So in the description below you see a gist. So in that gist you see where I put the source code to the it's just an SVG, it's not any complex code. So just click create here, and we're going to write search icon or search.svg. Let me make it smaller. Okay, so let's write search.svg. Okay, that's simple. So I already have it copied here, so I'm just going to scroll down and paste this. Okay, so here's it. So the thing about React that we usually import whatever we're using. So it's not just about, in normal HTML you just probably do like this, then you're able to see what is inside there. So yeah, we're first going to import it, and we're going to give it a name. It's called search icon. So we're going to write where we're importing it from. So we're importing it from using our directory and file structure / because that's where we are. Let me confirm where we're getting this from. So I'm currently here. So yeah, let's search.svg. So yeah, we have that figured out. Is it showing yet? So this won't be inside okay, this won't be inside to be inside curly braces, and we're going to name it search icon. Okay, so we should probably see that pop up here, just right there. So going further, the next thing we're going to do now would also be to create an onClick function for our search, for this search SVG here. So we're going to write onClick. What we want to happen on click is that it should search for the movies. So on click, we want to create a function. We want to search for movies. Okay, search movie. We already created. Okay, search movies and search them. Okay, so next, just below here. So next thing we're going to do is that we're going to try and create a movie card, and this movie card will be how this is what we mean by our movie card. So we're going to fetch data from an API, and that API will be OMDB. So OMDB means Open Movie Database. So it's an Open Movie Database API. So the API should be somewhere here. We're just going to copy it and paste it. Okay, yeah. So I think I said, yeah. So just copy it. Yeah. Okay, that's this here. So we're going to copy this, alright, and we're going to come over here. I haven't copied that. We're going to come over here. I'm going to create something called a .env file. So env is like environment variables. So some of these things that we're fetching, we're going to paste it right in our env file. Something simple, API underscore URL. That's our API URL. I'm going to put equals to. Then we're going to paste the link that we copied. So right here is ought to be our environment key. So to get our environment key, I'm going to expand this. So click on, you'd see before getting here, you would see a place where you see API key. So click on API key. There, click on free, and we'll put in an email. So I'm just going to put in my email. I think I'll use this. So for a React site movie search tutorial. Okay, So I'm just going to put submit and share. So I believe, okay, key has already, okay, because I've used it before. So let me try something else. I'll say Emanuela. Okay, which is this. Okay, so I really need to activate has been sent to my work capacity. So I'm just going to check that right away. So I've seen it right here. So here's my key. So I'm going to copy it, or okay. So yeah, copy it, and I'm going to click this URL to activate it to activate the key. So my key is now activated, as you can see here. So going back here, so going back to my app. Okay, so going back to my app, I'm just going to close this up. Going back here, I'm just going to paste the key right here. Okay, so this should be activated. Okay, yeah, I haven't done that in case of not saving. So I'm going to come here, and here's where we're going to make use of our environment key. I'll just name this movie underscore API URL. Then okay, we're going to go back to our app.jsx, and here we're going to now make use of it. So create a constant and name it API URL. Okay, and we're going to say our API URL is equals to process. So that's how we get access to using it. Process.env dot, we named the movie underscore API underscore URL, I believe so. So we're going to make use of this somewhere in our code. Okay, so we're going to map, because we're getting a list of various movies that we're trying to map over. So right beneath this div, we're going to learn how to map. So we'll create this called movies. So we're going to write movies, okay, and then we're setting to length, okay, greater than 0. So yeah, we want to map over so we're saying that if the movie's length, so this is like a ternary operator. If the movie's length is greater than 0, we want to give what's going on. So don't be bothered about the error yet. We're yet to be done what we're doing. I think I'll just leave this on, remove it from autosave. So yeah, so we're assigning a class name of container here. So it's saying that we're saying that if the movie length is greater than 0, what we want to do is that we want this movie to be displayed. So we're going to write movies.map. So this is where we're mapping. So we're mapping over each movie, and then coming out, we're going to make use of a movie card, which we're going to create. So that no one is confused, let's just create it now. So let's quickly come here and we'll create a file called movie card. Call it movie card.jsx. Okay, so we're going to use RAFCE Okay, and to make your RSC, just come to your extensions and search for React snippets. So there you'll be able to actually install React snippet that enables you to do that. So going back, we've already created this. I'm just going to save this. So we're going to come in here and then we're going to import it. So assuming you're not using React and you're just using HTML and HTML and CSS, you just do everything straight away. Okay, so it's a different approach here. So we're mapping over the movie card, which I believe we've already imported. So we're going to write set our movie to be equals to movie, which will soon create a use state to undo some of these things, in which I also explain what a use state will do. So we'll say movie is equals to movie, and then we'll say our key will be equals to movie. So our key is like the ID we're going to be using. So we're going to say movie.imb id. So this is the movie database ID. Sorry. Okay. So this ought to be covered, right? So because it's a ternary operator, we have to put the like the else statement. So if it's the case that we don't have that movie in our database, we're going to create we're going to display like an empty data. So we're going to create a div now again, and in between that div and in that div we're going to give it a class of empty, which will start later on, a class name empty. Okay, and just right here we're going to write h2 no movies found. Okay, so we have those errors taken care of. So now we're not seeing anything happen. In fact, nothing showing. So there's an error somewhere. I think I know where it is. So before I search where the error is, because I would, if I'm debugging, I like to use, I really should probably change this happening. So I'm just going to use, okay. Okay, so I'll be able to debug it better here. So as you can see here, we'll be getting an error that process is not defined, objects. Okay, so that means line okay, that means line 8. Yeah, so we're told that process.ev is not defined. So why are we going to get an error? So real quick, we're going to import use effect. Okay, and what use effect will enable us to do is that it's like a JavaScript library. So it's going to enable us, like now we're fetching data. Okay, so what it will enable us to do is like to make use of some DOM manipulations. All right, so help us to manage whatever we need to happen in response to like a change, a response to a prompt, or like a component state. For example, like now when we search for something, this component ought to like occur. So that's kind of how we're going to be making use of use state. So just right here, we're going to create an async function. An async function is like an asynchronous function. So what that will enable us to do would be that was also fetch data from the server without blocking the rest of the program. So when using an asynchronous function, make use of something called await. So await is going to wait for a promise to resolve. That's going to wait for something to take place. So and while that is waiting, your program is not being disrupted. So that's like purpose asynchronous. So we're going to say search movies. Okay, I'm going to say equals to async search term, and just write inside here. But rather I'll make this, call this title rather, sorry, call this title, and inside here we're going to say const response. That's our response. Okay, it should be equals to await, and we're going to fetch with our API URL. Okay, then we're going to say set the movies data to get the search. Okay, and before this we have to then say our data is equals to await response to the JSON, because the way the API is done is that like it's in a JSON format. So a JSON is basically like a file, or like it's a data, so it can, like, you can call it an hard-coded data. Some can be hard-coded. So what it basically contains is it could contain objects, arrays of a lot of data and all that. So that's like when we were JSON file. So sometimes you may see in some videos you just do data.json and you create some hard-coded data. So like that's what like JSON is all about. So moving on from here, so I haven't done that. Okay, I made a typographical error here, so that's supposed to be map. So I'm going to save it and let's see what our changes look like. So now, yeah, Control S. I think there's an error somewhere. We'll figure out what's going on. Sorry, Control S. So I'll like I did earlier, I'll use Chrome to like debug it. Yeah, like better developer tools. Although you can install some of like the extensions from on your Brave, but I'm just do this. So yeah, so just check it out. Yeah. So yeah, not defined. Okay. I don't see why I'm getting the error. Sorry. Out of process name, right? Defined. We'll figure out that. I don't see why. Okay, let's check it out. I don't know everything. So the thing is also why I try to also search, because I'm not a pro, and I also try to search while doing my videos, is so that my system falling, so that you understand that you could also make the same attempt as you program. So error process not defined. Oh, this might not bring anything specific. I'd just prefer to use ChatGPT in this case, because that is sort of accurate. Of course, when we try to present a browser in an environment which is not defined. So movie app API URL. Okay. Alright, I'll check the solution to this. Instead of doing this, we're to do this. Okay, so as the beginner, well, not just the beginner, I think even the intermediate or advanced developers do it. So when you find an error that I probably understand, if it's probably not in Stack Overflow, you can also come here. So what we're going to do from this now is to just replace okay, this one I saw, is just replace, rather than putting it here, we're just going to take the result. I'm just going to take our key here, and just come over here and just put it. So I hope that solves it. Hopefully it does. I should comment this out. So then put this. Okay. So let's see if that did anything. Okay, we can see something showing up. So saying removed true for s, true for want to write. Oh my, I think s. Oh my goodness, I think I must have made a typographical error somewhere. Typographical error was I searched for s, and yeah, this should not be here. So if I save that, I should get probably a better response. Okay, yeah, we got that sorted out. So moving forward, we'll go on and try and okay, yeah. So with that said, let me reload this. We can start working. We can start working on how we're getting our this thing. So quickly, we'll go to app.css and try and start a number of things. So I'll probably put this to the side, so we are very precise about what we're trying to do here. So first thing we want to do is that we're going to import some fonts. So so I'm just going to do fonts with google.com, and here we're going to look for Roboto and Railway. So I'm just going to Roboto. So you just click on it, then you actually just get to pick the one. So I'll just go with select regular 400. Okay, select medium 500, bold, I think the backboard, I think it's fine. Then let's just do we can also pick thing. Let's pick like the thing one. So let's go search for railway. Okay, here we go. So railway, we can select 100 too. Select this. You can select anyone you want, anyone that you're probably using your file. I think this is okay for me. You don't have to select what I selected, just feel free to play around with it. So if you click on view selected families, you see, okay, I'm going to remove this arrow because I don't need it. I think I probably used it before in the project. So yeah, so you can either use link or import. To making use of link, so just copy this. Making use of import, so just copy this, go back to your file, and right here we're going to paste that. So I'm going to remove this one here and this. Sorry. Okay, so we have that set. So we're going to do a general styling and give it a margin of the margin will be 0. Then we'll give a border of 0 and box size in border box. Okay, so also impute putting padding and margin like in various elements. So we're going to make use of root, and root is like where we can root to store like some of the CSS variables that we'll be using often. So like we'll do something like dash font, give it the name font Roboto, then give it the name. So for me, the name of this is the name, so you can just copy this. or you can just do this instead. Yeah. Okay, so next we'll do font railway, and we'll set it like this. So whenever I want to use it, instead of putting this, we'll just write font roboto. So sometimes you can do it for color if you're using a very large file, and so you can do something like color primary. So whenever I want to call it, you'll be using some of these things, but we're not making use of color primary. I just wanted to give that as an example. So then we're going to do our body. I'll give our body font family. Then we'll now use var as a variable, and we'll do font roboto rather. Okay, so that's how we apply the font to the body. So if you check our stuff, we'll see that it's being applied. So this is supposed to be search, not sir. So search. So I can save that. I think I'll put it at auto save now, so I'm not forgetting some things. So yeah, we can see that our styles is taking effect. So the next thing we want to also do would be to give it a background color. A background color of something falling down here. A background color of 3. Let's see, 89 should be a very light blue. 89 FFO. 89 CFFO. Yeah, it's a very light blue. You can use any color you want. So we have this app here. So we're going to style app and do dot app. Okay, and we're going to give it a padding of 2 rem. So we're styling the whole box. So I downloaded an extension that is called pesticide. So this way, as we're styling it, you get to actually see what you're doing. So the padding we just added is a container of all this. So you added a padding 2 rem. So I think that's the 2 rem that's taking place here. It's taking place somewhere here. So okay, moving on, we'll then do a display flex. Jesus. Display flex so display flex because we want everything to kind of be flexible. So I used to say in some of my videos, and say flex, I'm trying to say relax, so everything just gets relaxed. So justify content center, then flex direction, we want that to be column. So looking back at that, we get something like this. Okay, so if it's confusing you, let me just remove this, and I want to show some specific stuff. I could put it back. So yeah, so thereafter we have our h1. So our h1, we're going to style it as the font size of 3 rem and letter spacing of 0.9 pixels. Okay, so looking back at that, we'll see this. Then we'll style our search. Okay, so we gave it a class name of search, and then we'll give it a width of 71% and a margin 2 rem. So if you come here now, you can see that we've given it a width. This is the width for this width now is 71%, and then we gave it a margin. So the margin around here now is about 2 rem. So we'll do a display flex. So the purpose why we're doing display flex now is that we want to style our search to look like this now. So we'll start the search, then we'll move forward to doing the movie card. So we'll do a display flex, we'll do align item center, we'll do justify content center, then we'll give it some padding. So if I look at it now, sorry, I just want to show them something. So take a look back at it now, we'll see that this is happening. So you see it's like it's taking the shape of this sort of, but not yet. So we'll start with this. So we're going to then do give it a padding. So we're going to say the padding will not be auto. The padding top will be padding top and bottom will be 1.5 rem, and the padding left and right will 1.75 rem. So we're going to give you a border radius of 3 rem. And the thing about using rem is that it kind of sort of border radius of 3 rem. So rem kind of just adjusts to background, so we can see, because we're not really seeing the effects yet. So give it a background of about, it will be kind of white light, so it will be E8 F8 FF. So then we're going to make use of WebKit shadow. Okay, so we can see that. So we're going to give it like a little bit of shadow, as we can see down here. So to do that, we're making use of WebKit. So we're going to write WebKit. WebKit is basically used for rendering content on browsers. So I think more specifically for them Safari and Chrome. So yeah, so it just tries to ensure that things are rendered properly. So I'm going to give it 5 pixels. You can search more about that. So I'm going to give this 5 pixels, 5 pixels, then about 7 pixels. Okay, then we're going to give it a color of, that will be 1C, 1D, 1F. So slightly dark, it's dark like that. Then a comma, then again we're going to give it minus 5 pixels, 5 pixels, and a 7 pixels. Then the color will be the same blue color that we used up there, which was 89CFF0. CFF0. So that gives that blue instead. So then we're going to then apply the box shadow. So so what we did here will be the same thing that we're going to put for box shadow. You can just copy this and paste it here. So you could have just left it at box shadow and just go away, but once this is ensuring that it's rendering properly, like I had stated earlier. So if you take a look at that now, we should be seeing this. So let's work with the input. So to start the input, to do search inputs, and we're going to do flex 1. So if you take a look at that, to see that we get that everything, it takes the full width of the container. So we're going to remove the border and set the border as none, and taking a look at that again, you'll see that okay. All right, so give it a font size of 1.5 rem, then font family of railway, but this time, like we did, we're going to use var, then dash railway. Okay, then we'll give a font width of about 500, padding right 1 area. Okay, then remove the outline and we'll give it a color of like gray. That'll be 555. So like whatever text we're writing in there. So okay, so you can see that we have that grayish color. So let's try and remove that background that we see there. So we're going to remove the background by making the background of the input box match with that of the search box. So we're going to say background to be equals to the color of the search box that we had put here. So that'll be ash, and so the same as that which is here. So we take a look at it, we'll see that we have blended it. So So I noticed that this font size is kind of small, like, or small, because we didn't complete it, so it ought to be font size. So we go back there. Yep, it's looking better. Okay, so we could also style the search image. So I mean that search handle, or the magnifying glass, if I should put it with this. So give it a width of about 100%, then give it a margin top of about 3 rem. Then sorry, no, that would be too big and unreasonable. Rather, let's say give it about height of 35 pixels. Okay, then we'll change the cursor to be pointer. So taking a look at that, we have this. Oh, this doesn't look so presentable, and unlike this ought to be in the middle. So I feel like something's off. So I think it was after we put this stuff here that all this while started happening. So how about we remove, not like remove, but let's remove this and let's see what we get. So nothing happens, and our cursor. So we'll just leave our cursor as pointer, and we'll go ahead with the rest. So I also noticed that we made an error here. So this ought not to be here. This ought not to be here. Yep. Then this ought not to be here, and this ought not to be. So like I just removed those the double quote that we had here. So yeah, we should have the font actually working now. So yeah, we've done something like this. So moving on, we'll try and style our movie card now. All right. So movie card is simply that which we see here. Okay, this here. So let's go back. So if you are wondering why we're saying no movies found, it's because we had done a logic that when you try to search data for, because we've not searched for anything, so you also want to let the user know, okay, there's no movie found. Yes, mommy. That's working on it immediately. So we're going to pass in a prop movie. So we're passing a prop because we had already defined, because like that's like the properties we're trying to put on like the app. So you see here, you already put movies and try to check the length. So it said if the length, like if the array in the data is actually if there's a data there, we want this movie card to show. But like now there's no data, so that's why we are getting these no movies. Okay, so I passed in a prop of movies. So the next thing we'll do now would be, let's add a class name here called movie. Okay, then right inside here we'll have a div, and we're going to have a p tag, and we're going to say movie dot year. So this was going to get the year that the movie was done. Okay, so coming out of that div now, we'll create another div, and we're going to write our image and give it a source. So the source will be the movie poster. So we're going to write movie dot poster. Okay, so it could actually be the case that there could be a case that like you see here now, there's no poster for this one. Okay, let's search for this movie. Okay, there's no poster for this one. So in that case, what are we going to do? All right, so I want to go over this thing, so see where I can also give some extra explanation. Okay, so use the ID. You are done this thing. So so let's go back here. Okay, so movie dot poster. So what if we're now in the case where we don't get any poster? So we're not going to create another condition for that. So if the poster is equals to NA, that means not available. We're then going to say that the movie the poster. So if this is available, we're going to show the movie poster. But if it's not available, else, like this is a temporary bottle, so I'm going to say that I already searched up a placeholder that we can use. So you can use this. Just copy this URL. So this placeholder, this image I'm putting is just going to be like a 4x4. Like, I'll show you what it looks like now. Okay, so this is basically what I am. That thing saw something earlier. Okay, I'm sorry. So basically, okay, before I go, let's copy this one. So we copy it, and this is somewhere here. Yeah. So this right here, this 4x400 by 400 thing, is the placeholder. That this is it. Okay, this is what we're using. So like that's where nothing is showing. Okay. So thereafter, we're going to put our alt to be the movie title. And as you know, alt is like when the image does not load, it gives a description of what the image is. In events, maybe your image is not loading. So notice I put the poster in capital letter and I put the title in capital letter. So thereafter, I will go down and we'll create another div, and we're going to do a span such a way that we're going to write movie.type. Okay, and below that we're going to give an h3 which will include the movie title. So we're going to say movie, so we're getting the title. Okay, so I think we're done here. Okay, so if I go back to check it now, I'm not sure if we'll have anything showing yet. So should we try? Nothing is going to work. I doubt it. Okay, nothing's showing. So we're going to make use of use effects now. So for anyone who's lost what use effect is about, so basically what use effect will do is that to just enable us like it's going to like respond to whatever data we're trying to fetch. So it's going to manipulate the DOM after we fetch that data. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. So after we fetch data is what is going to manipulate the DOM to actually for us to be able to view the data or see the data we just searched for. So so we're going to come right here. Okay, and this, we shouldn't put this here. This ought to be inside this function. Okay. So let's check. Nothing's coming up yet. I've not done any UI for that, so nothing's going to come yet. So we're going to use effects here. So let's use effects. Yeah. So in our use effects, we can say we can put, so what's going on? Sorry, use effect. So in our use effect, we can say we can set a default thing to be searched for. Okay, so we can say something like search movies automatic, like Batman. So like once you just reload the page, Batman, the details for Batman is what's going to show. Okay, it won't work now. Sorry, we're coming. So we'll leave this as empty. Okay, so nothing is showing yet. So we'll go back to our app.css and try and start. Okay, so this empty, we're also going to style it. Okay, so going back to, we're going to then style our empty, and then for our empty is like the no movies found here. So we're going to give it a full width that will be of 100%, margin top of 3 rem, display flex, justify content center, align item center. Okay, then it's inside an h2, so we'll start at h2 too, but sorry, it ought to be h2. Okay, and that h2 will give it about a font size of 1.25 rem. Color will be black. No, I said color will be black. That will be 000, and font family would be railway. So we'll give and do railway. So moving on from there, we're then going to work on the container. Okay, because if you can see here, we have a container. Okay, we're going to work on the container, and for that container, we'll say the width should be equals to 100%. The margin top should be 3 rem, and we're going to say display flex, justify content center, align item center, flex wrap should be wrap. So that will enable in such a way that when we to fit the width, nothing is showing here, but to fit the width. So we'll make it responsive, or I'll hold on with the responsiveness, and that we should try and just get everything set. So moving on to the movie now. So if you come here, so moving on to the movie now, if you come here, we're going to have the width of 301 pixels, the height 350 pixels, the margin should be about 1.5 rem, then position should be relative, border radius should be 12 pixels, overflow will make that hidden, border make that none, and transition, give it a transition, because if you notice from here there's like this transition here, so we want to do that. So we'll say that our transition will give it all should be about 0.4 seconds. We'll use this cubic visa to be 0.175, 0.885, 0.1. Okay, so you can search for what this does. So you can like there's documentation for all this. So like for transition, now to know more about it, transition in JavaScript. So I think there's this, what's it called now, JavaScript. Okay, so there's this documentation, is Mozilla or something here, Mozilla developer here. So this is going to really explain. I prefer using this to really explain. So I'll put the link to the Mozilla doc in the description. Okay, so yeah, you can see it will explain to you transition timing and what's all about. So the first thing we saw was all. So we saw property of all. We did property of all. The next thing was put duration of 0.4s, then timing function and the delay. So this is going to really take its time to actually explain how all this is going about. So you should take your time to actually go through it and read it. So I'm also looking for something here. So like now we did transition all, so you use transition all in JavaScript. So if you search for something like that, it's going to also explain to you what it is. Okay, so yeah, so with that said, we're also going to do a box shadow of 0 pixels, 13 pixels, 10 pixels, minus 7 pixels. Then RGB, I'm going to do 0, 0, 0, 0.1. So thereafter, We want to make an over effect over each of our cards. Okay. Okay. So I'm still wondering why I can't say anything. So we'll try to do an over effect. Okay, so movie we're using a different one. So for our movie, we're going to right here, we're going to say give a box shadow. Sorry, box shadow of 0 pixels, 30 pixels, 18 pixels, minus 8 pixels, RGB. Okay, and then so this 0.1 is like the opacity here. So also use transform scale. So transform our scale 1.05. Okay, so we're yet to see any effect. I'm wondering why. So we want to create like this opacity. Okay, so let's go on. Then we're going to say movie, and we're trying to get the let's say end of type 1. So I realized that we will just real quick we're not going to say anything we're doing right now here because we did not properly put this. So this ought to be, rather than a curly braces, it ought to be a normal brace. So also going to come here and make it a normal brace. So any change we're making should take effect like this. So what we'll try to do now is actually style it. Okay, so we've done the movie. So in case so to explain what this does, I made a prompt to ChatGPT to actually check this out. So right here we'd see that you have this. So what the end type 1 is doing is that it's just checking for, like, this is only the first div here that's going to be blue, the rest will be blue. So that's technically what we're trying to achieve. So let's go on to actually styling the movie card. So we have our movie end type 1 here. So not for any confusion, I'll just go below here and just try to do it. So would say we'll give it movie, then div, then we said end of type 1. So I'm going to give you a position absolute, padding of about 16 pixels, width of about 100%. Okay, I think I should probably place it side to side, so we're seeing how the changes are taking effect. So I'll just close all to be so this. Okay, so and give this a width of 100%. Then we're going to give it opacity of 0. Thereafter would give it what I think. Let's see, if you do a top to be 0, say okay, then do bottom to be 0. You can also set the right to be 0. So we'll give it a margin left of about 250 pixels and color of black. So perhaps you're wondering what are we styling over here. So if you come back to, let me put this by here beside. So come back to our movie card. Come back to our movie card here. Would see that we're styling the first div here. So we're styling the movie here, and you can see here's the movie here. So that's why we're placing at the absolute. So we are yet to see anything. So just in a bit we'll be able to see something. So then we'll style the second div, which is the div that's here, this one. So installing that, what we'll do then, we'll write movie. We can just copy this to save us the stress. Just copy this and paste it here, and rather than one we would have two. Okay, so I'll give it a width of 100%, give it a height of 100%, and then also style the image. So you can copy this, we'll style the image inside the div. As you can see here, you see here that there's an image element inside the second div. So we're going to say for that we're going to give it a height of 100%, and we're going to give it width of 100%. Then we'll start the third div, and we're going to say for that div you can just copy and paste what we did before, then just change this to 3. Then for this div we're going to give it, because what we're styling now in the third div is the movie type and movie title. So I'm going to say that the movie, we're going to give a z index of about 2. So the z index is kind of the way things are stacked on like the screen. So this it might not be obvious, but this is what we're trying to style now. So it's kind of above the over kind of. So yeah, so going onward we're going to do a background color of this white color here. Then we'll give it a padding at the top. The padding top will be 16 pixels, 24 pixels on the right, 24 pixels on the bottom, and 24 pixels on the left. So thereafter we're going to say position absolute. Bottom would be 0, right would be 0, left would be 0. Okay, so then we're going to say movie. We're going to do this, and what we want to do now is to style the span. As you can see here, there is like a span element there. So we'll try and style the span and set a font family. Font family should be about Ruva. That will be we'll use railway, and we'll do the text transform to be uppercase. Font size to be 13 pixels. 10 pixels. We'll do a letter spacing of about 2. Let me take it back to where we were. Oh, this thing just keeps spacing of about 2. So we're not seeing the change. I'll just comment this out so you can see that I should not have done that. So you can see that when we do this now, we'll see the changes being affected. Yeah, then yeah, so thereafter we'll start the h3 in our third div. If you check here, there's an h3 in our third div, so we won't start this title now. So what we'll do now would be we'll paste that again, and we're going to say h3, and then for our h3 we'll give it a margin top of about 5 pixels and a font family we'll give it Roboto instead. if I got the pronunciation right. So moving on, we're going to then add over to for each div. What should happen for each div when we over it? So for our second div, I can just copy this right here. For our second div, so after the movie we'll put over. So we're trying to over a second div. So our second div will give it a height of 100%, and it's over an opacity of 0.3, and our second div is what contains the image, so we can see that happening. So we'll also do the same thing for our third div, and I think I should just copy this out so it has the over there. Then we'll name this will be the third div, and we'll give a background color to be transparent. So our third div is basically what contains here is the title and the type of movie. So for the div, that's the first div there. Sorry, it ought not to be here. For the first div here, we'll give it opacity of 1. So that's the first div we did, and first div is what contains contains the year. But we're not yet seeing our year. Our year is supposed to come up somewhere here, so we're going to check that out. I don't know what the issue is. Let's check the first div again. So this is our first div, right? Give a position absolute, okay. PDB, padding supposed to be px or pz, without making any effects. Then we give the width of 100%. I don't see where, I'm not sure where they say. If I comment this out and I comment this right out, okay, we yet to see, we're not seeing anything yet. It's not supposed to be like that. I don't seem to see what the issue is, but perhaps if I figure it out later, I'll point it out. So so this is what we've done. So if we kind of search for Spider-Man, we should get it. If we search for Boss Baby, you should find it. So in our code, Boss Baby. So yeah, so in our code you realize that in our code you realize that we did something. In our code you realize that we did something here, which was setting the default to be Batman. Another thing you can do, you can set to anything. You can set to Boss Baby. So this means that when the page reloads, it's automatically going to search for Boss Baby. If we set what's here to be friends, for example, when we check it out here and reload it, we're going to get things related to friends. So I'm going to leave it as Boss Baby. Okay, so that's it. Sorry. So I think we're done. I think you can play around trying to make it curved like this, and you can also try and find out why this is not coming up. But for the meantime, I think that's all. Let me see if I can figure out why that's not happening here. It's responsiveness to something else. I think that's all. So that's basically all for this video. So we learned how to fetch an API from fetch data from API using a movie API. So you see, you set the constant, then put the API here. Also read to the docs of the API to see how you can go about that. So we learned what an async function is, what the use state is, what the use effect is. So that brings us to the end of this video. I do implore you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you, and till next time. I really hope I'm able to post more often, because I've been doing some transitions of this recent in terms of moving around and school too. So I'm also working really hard to also try and keep up, but days I can't. But nonetheless, I'm going to do my best